Welcome back to my little channel. Today I'm going to revisit the topic of gender dysphoria and by lesser extent transgenderism. The two are not the same. I know some people think they are, but they are attached at the hip, so to say. They do have a lot of overlap. The thing is this. There has been a study in the Netherlands that basically claims that people which are gender dysphoric transgender, not gender dysphoric as such, but transgender gender dysphoric, do seem to have a brain that functions as the brain of the opposite sex would. Now the funny thing is that I can't find this study. I know it exists because I found several studies referring to it, but I cannot find the Dutch study. What I do find funny is that the way these other studies talk about the tests. Now know that science basically means that whatever you do, it is repeatable. And if it is repeatable, it should have the same outcome. But it doesn't. Therewith, it kind of proves it isn't true. That in itself doesn't have to be a problem if it weren't for the fact that people are claiming truth because of it. And how do they test these subjects? Well, they introduce a pheromone to them whilst they are in an MRI, and then they look at how the brain responds. Pheromones are how we as humans interact sexually with each other without interacting with each other. That sounds ominous. Let me rephrase that. A pheromone is a way of communication without trying to. We pick up on pheromones. This is what makes us attracted to the opposite sex, but not to all opposite women. This sounds weird, especially for men, because every man will tell you, hey, if I look at a pair of tits, I'm aroused. Yeah, but that's not the same thing. Now, how can I prove this is not the same thing? Well, for men, it's quite simple. Check your partner, look at your partner, and try to figure out what it is that you are sexually attracted to with your partner. Most men, if not all, will have to admit that their partner doesn't tick all the boxes when it comes to physical attractiveness. But that's not how it works. We're not just physically attracted to someone. Yeah, but our partner have great brains as well. They make us laugh. They make us... Yeah, but those things happen later. We've already had a connection with them before we realized that they make us laugh. That connection is caused by pheromones. Is that a problem? No, it's not. So when we tell that during an MRI test and I give some people pheromones and some males respond as I would have females respond, yeah, that doesn't really mean anything because we don't know what it means. We can only say, okay, well, we see this response in the brain, an organ that we don't really understand that well yet. And these responses are almost similar than that we see in women. Okay, are these boys gay? Are they sexually attracted to men? We don't know that. The study doesn't say that. But if they are, well, who's to say that pheromone is a male pheromone and a gay person will respond differently to male pheromones than female pheromones? How do we know this? Well, this is the thing. We know this because of sexual attraction. Pheromones are one of the ways to create this attraction. It doesn't automatically mean that you will find every male interesting. Remember how I said males should check their partners? This is true for gay males as well. You don't automatically end up with the most interesting specimen physically as you think you would. And that's okay because that's how humans work. At the same time, we don't really know why it works like that, but hey, that's how it is. Now, here is the one thing that I do want to bring out. They basically say that there is a difference between checking kids that are on hormone treatment and that are not on hormone treatment. I'm reading from a different study, and I will have the link downstairs. There is no consensus on the prevalence of gender non-conformity amongst children and adolescents. And introducing studies in this area is fraught with methodological challenges ranging from recruitment and reporting biases to difficulties in measurement, given the fluidity and non-binary nature of gender expression and identity. Basically what they're saying is, we can't come up with a single easy way to measure this. And yet we're taking this as gospel. This is problematic to me because now all of a sudden an ideological push is given scientific credence, whilst at the same time we can say that there is no consensus of the prevalence of gender nonconformity among children and adolescents. So how can there be no consensus whilst at the same time we know that this is the case? Those two do not connect. Now there is a lot to say, and is there something like transgender brain set? Yeah, of course. It's being pushed, there's more to it. It's not nature versus nurture, as a lot of people like to keep claiming, and we can't prove it because humans are vastly individual, so we all have different expectations of life, the way we look at life. I can show two people the exact same thing and they will see something different. Remember the blue dress, gold dress incident we had a year or so ago? People could actually argue that they had a picture and some people would see the very same picture and some people would see a blue and black dress and another one a gold and I can't remember, white or something. They saw different colors. But everyone saw the same picture. How does this happen? Well, because some of us are wired slightly different than other people. Does that then automatically mean you're a different gender? No. Does that mean you're the opposite gender? No. It merely means we are wired differently. Now, the one thing that I do find very upsetting in this transgender push that we are seeing is that if we look at all the studies that come after the Dutch study, and I can't find the Dutch study, so I can't really talk about that one, we see one thing and one thing only. There is no consensus on the prevalence of gender nonconformity amongst children and adolescents, and conducting studies in this area is fraught with methodological challenges. Let that sink in for a while. This is not the same thing as science where we can see certain things are set in stone. This is ideologically driven science. And we don't know what it means, therefore we assume what it means. But we can't repeat the outcome. We can't repeat all of the science before it. I hope people will think about this. I'll have a few articles linked at the bottom. I'll use one of the studies I will have linked as well. Like, share and subscribe if you feel so inclined. The one thing that I am going to add though, one of the people I had this discussion with not too long ago basically called me a science denier because I didn't agree with it. I would like to point out to everyone that yes, I am a science denier. No, I'm not. I'm not a science denier. I'm a science skeptic. We all should be science skeptics. We shouldn't blindly believe science. I mean, there's a reason why science doesn't throw around laws, why everything is a theory, or almost everything is a theory. Because there's always the slight chance that we're wrong. And that's the whole thing about science. It's either repeatable, which makes it science, or it is not. This obviously isn't. Therefore, I have no reason to blindly believe it. Now, I will make more videos about this topic, amongst other, why we see this more amongst people with the development disorder of autism, and why transgenderism and gender dysphoria is something more prevalent in this group. Not just a bit more prevalent. But I'm starting to talk all over again, so yeah, no. Like, share, subscribe, and see you all next time.